Yeah, I know. This doesn't look like twine, but I'm trying to work out this new trap dynamic, and I thought it best, especially where Epic is still changing things on the daily, it seems, with these patch updates. Um, I'm going to go to Stonewood and try out some new things. I've managed to find a way to get my tunnels down to 2 tiles long. So let's take a look at that. Today we're going to look at Stonewood, and I already have a working build here posted on YouTube, but it uses the drop traps, and recently they changed those schematics. I'm also really trying to learn with the traps that we have left that don't break, or even with that, what's the best way to go about this now. And running into some hiccups in twine, and I really want to try to perfect this. So I'm going back to Stonewood. I'm reworking some of these bases, and it's kind of funny how much more I can get away with when I'm really put to the test. So we're going to go into Stonewood, and we're going to see how I created a 2-tile tunnel system throughout all of Stonewood to defeat the husks and go AFK to 30 waves. So let's begin. So we've been here before, only it's different. Now, every tunnel is too wide. So what does that mean? That means that Homebase, for example, this is it. That's your tunnel. We are literally pathing them 2 tiles. No lobber shield. Instead we're using those anti-air traps up here. And that is stopping anything from being thrown over. So how does this tunnel work? So it's all over these traps, and I'm using 11 different traps. We have 4 floor tiles, we have 4 wall tiles, and we have 3 ceilings. So let's take a look at how this works. So the very start is going to be the sound wall, and this is basically just to stop the propanes from dropping. Good thing is these anti-airs are also doing a good job at that. And these ones, although they'll never get used, putting them here is making the propane go off a whole lot less, at least here in Stonewood. So that's what that is. We also have the heals on this. So there's heals. So if anything does go off, it's going to be healing. Same as these floor tiles here, these wood spikes. That's kind of the goal in this, is to try to keep this front area from breaking. So they hit here, and then they hit this gas trap. So the first thing in the tunnel in the ceiling setup, I'm still using the same kind of method of my universal amp design, only I'm swapping out some of the traps. The gas trap is the swap for the drop. So now I'm starting with gas. And then we go to that electric field up there, and then we hit the zapper. And that's basically it. To start, the floors, we're basically just cycling through these floors. So we start here so they walk slow, here for the damage, and then here so they freeze, and then get hit with all this damage at the end. So we have the dart, the 2 dynamos, the dart over here, and the zapper, hitting them all at the same time. And that's if they make it here. In all honesty, most die right here. The majority of the others die here. Very few get to this point. But yeah, this is a 2-tunnel system, and I've basically copied this tunnel system to every one of the bases. So let's take a look over here to the northwest amp. So this is the northwest amp. And so you'll see we have speakers, we have the spike and the gas, the retractable and the electric field, the freeze and the zapper. And you'll notice that I have the reinforcements on the back here of these Sapomax / dynamos, and then it's darts on every other main wall. And they walk here, and most will die pretty much at this spot. The rest will die here, very few get here. And it's set up the same way on this end. So I kind of keep the open concept that I use in my bases, but it's a very smaller passageway. So this is all their natural pathing. This is where every husk wants to go. So they're not breaking on anything. And so they come in, and again, floor spike, gas, retractable electric field, freeze, zapper. And then I have things thrown all around. To make it work. And nothing is outside of those two tiles. Let's take a look at the traps and the perks that I put on them to make this all work. The first trap we'll use for our ceilings is our gas trap, and that is going to be 4 durability and an effect duration, and that is going to be at the start of most of our tunnels. Our second trap here is going to be our ceiling electric field, and that will be the second tile in our little tunnel system for the most part, and it's going to be just all durability. Lastly is the zapper, and I have this as like kind of a mixed bag, well, one of each, so damage, crit rating, reload speed, durability. And that will be kind of the end piece to most of our tunnel systems. The first floor trap we will use is these wooden floor spikes, and how I have it set up is a crit rating, crit damage, double durability, heals builds attached. And that's at the start of all of our tunnels. So for the second floor trap that we'll be using, and the second one that kind of goes into our tunnel system, is going to be the retractable floor spikes. And they're going to be a triple durability, double reload speed. And the last trap in this tunnel system is going to be our 4 freeze trap, and that is going to be triple impact, double reload, effect duration. We will then have on top of our builds and inside, kind of on the side of our tunnel systems, these anti-air traps, and it's the double range, double reload, durability, heals builds attached. Our first wall trap is going to be our sound wall, and it's going to be a 4 durability, green reload speed, heals builds attached, and these are basically going to be at the start of every single tunnel. The next trap we'll use is our wall dart, and it's going to be a triple durability, damage, increased builds health, wall dart. And that's pretty much going to be everywhere. The next trap here is the Zapomax, which is basically just the wall dynamo. I just like the look of this one, so I use it. We are going to go with the triple durability, reload, increased builds health. And anywhere we have a low wall in my build, you'll see it's kind of like an outline area. That's where we'll put the Zapomax, as well as any narrow passage where you can get a good benefit from. And the last trap we're using is more just for reinforcing. We're going to use a 4 durability, heals builds attached wall spike, and we're putting that on the back of some of our wall dynamos, as well as in behind some walls. Alright, so we're here at Homebase, and we'll look at the mini-map for a second, and you'll see how the tunnels are set up. It's basically like a wall surrounding the 4 main amps, and then you see my flex amp. I have the southeast amp picked, the far southeast amp that's on the hill, and you'll see that that's bordered off with another 2 walls for its spawns. But we're going to start with Homebase here and just kind of look at the placements. I won't go tile for tile exactly how I have this built because it's kind of just the system, but you'll see. So we're basically 2 tiles away, and then right where this is coming up is where I have the first opening. And they're pathing either side of this wall, and they're going in. And it's very simplistic. Like I said, the first spot is always this combo, the second spot is usually always this combo, and the last one is usually this combo. There's going to be a few exceptions, but you'll see that as we go through. But yeah, that's where the first one is. Then as you go around this edge, I have another opening right here that veers to the right, kind of in line with the amp, so the husks just kind of follow that natural pathing. And you can make this a lot easier by adding more, but I was really trying to challenge myself here with this to show exactly just how minimal you can make these builds, because it really doesn't take much, especially in these earlier levels. And the fun thing is, I mean, it's not fully Wargames compliant, but I've done a few already, and it makes it still pretty easy. even at the higher power level. The husks aren't coming through here and just barging through. They're still dying. It just depends on the modifiers, how effective this base is, because close quarters, it's not really built for all those modifiers. Things like that. But the standard ones like anomalies, safety zone, that sort of thing, you'll be pretty good with that. But yeah, so this is this tunnel system here. And it's mostly darts on the outsides, dynamos where it's lower walls, and then just this whole thing. You have a spike first, a retractable force spike second, and a floor freeze. And then up top, how I have this set up is along this front wall, it's basically anti-airs. Anywhere it's raised, I don't have the anti-airs up there, but then I have anti-airs down here, not up here, but then down over here. And that's just for lobbers, flingers, anything throwing over. And then anytime there's an entranceway, both sides I use speakers. And then in between, I'm sometimes throwing darts up. And you see I go over 3. But not a lot to these, and that was the goal. So we're going to take a look at the southeast amp, and I'm saying southeast, but it's like from that main group of 4. We do have the furthest southeast amp, the flex amp setup, but this is kind of right in the middle. And so this amp spawns from the east and the south, and we'll start with the east first. So they spawn from up here, and down over here, and they'll divert to the right here, and then some will come through here, and then the ones that spawn up on this way, they kind of wrap around here. Some will drop here, but most will come down here to this spot and go through our tunnel system here. So from the right side here, you'll see that I have speakers all lining up. This is an actual ramp, so I have speaker here and a dart on the other side. And then at the top of the ramp, we have a floor and a cone, and then I put 2 more low walls, and I put dynamos and things just to stop anything from trying to come up this way. And for any reason, if they happen to get up this spot, the dynamos will take good work of them. Down here, we have floor spikes with the gas trap, and then you'll see we have the retractable with the electric field, and then we have an extra tile here, so I got an extra retractable with the zapper, and then we have another electrical field right here, and that just gives us that back wall. Anytime that I have an opening on the back side, I'll try to reinforce the walls that are open, so we have the increased health with the dynamo and the dart, and then we have the heals builds with the speakers. And that's kind of right down in here, right along that cliff side where this amp is. And where this ramp is going down. Then I have a dart here. Basically I kind of put darts in between amps. There's only a few that I don't. And then speakers. So speakers, darts, speakers where there's openings, and so forth. And then we go into this room, and we have a spike with a gas trap, the retractable 4 spikes with the electric field, and then the freeze, which is holding them back, and they're getting zapped, zapple-maxed, and darted. And then if they happen to get past that, you have 2 darts on each side that are ready to hit them. And this is the main path they like to go. There's a bit of a bonus path here because there is an opening, so husks could go down this way. They generally won't, but we have it trapped out anyway. I want to take advantage of that corner piece, so we have them pathing this way. Now, this also blends in with the south spawn. So south spawn can be up here, and then all the way down here. And they attack the amp. So up here, how they like to go is through this way. They'll sometimes walk down this path, but most of them will walk right down here. So again, everything from here to here is all basically bonus. Did I need to add it? Probably not, but I like having it just to kind of fit that wall perimeter thing that I have going on. And it still is too deep. It's just the corner pieces, you kind of have like a 4x4 spot almost. And that's what we're kind of utilizing in this area. And I just kind of threw some extra wall spikes and retractables, dynamos and darts. And we have these anti-airs here again. They're not really doing much, but they do prevent or reduce the amount the TNT Huskies want to blow stuff up quite significantly, because I mean, there's not a whole lot for them to blow up. So we'll go here, and we have everything lined with the dynamos, and then this one's reinforced with the spikes. This one, because you could still path here, we still have this Apple Max placed. So you get your gas. And then we have this floor freeze because of the continuation here. As long as they're not getting hit more than 5 times, we're good. And everywhere, it's mostly 3 at most. We got the speakers, then you get the 1 floor freeze, and it still gives enough time for this floor freeze to kick in. And that will push them back and hold them underneath this zapper. But so they go here, they get the gas, the electric field, they get the retractable force spike, and the freeze all along. So that's from up here in the south spawn up the top spot. Most will be down here though, and they'll come up these 2 paths, one right here and one up here. This is the more popular one. They'll come right here, gas trap, the floor spike, then we get the retractable with the electric field. We get that extra zapper with another retractable force spike just to get more damage in. And then they're going to hit this freeze that everything else is kind of converging to. If they happen to get out here, oh, you can have a dart right over here. And that helps as well. And you'll notice there is a small little section here. There's a couple spots. This is one. And it's because of this ridge area. There's not a lot of floor, so there's not a lot to slow them down. So you have to kind of make do and counteract that. And we've done that by when they walk in. So again, the speakers on the outside. And then we have a 2x2 area of all electric fields. And then we have dynamos, and then darts. When they get up here, they're getting hit by those darts. A dynamo if they try to go closer. And then they get up here, there's a gas trap right here. You'll notice it kind of looks like a little person. I've been placing them like this because the red lights are the sensors. So if they're here, the sensors are registering them and it activates it now. Where if they're behind, it doesn't activate until they're almost past the tile. So like all things, the traps do have an orientation. When you're placing these, I find you have to go kind of in this left side and look up to place it, to have it look that way, if you don't rotate them. And we have a Zappomax, dart, and then the freeze will hold them in place while the zapper does its thing. If they happen to get out, they have some darts that are going to hit them before they get to the amp. And that is the southeast amp. Well, middle amp really, but yes, that's that amp. So now we're going to look at the southwest amp from the main 4, because again I have the southeast flex one. So for this southwest amp, again, 2 spawns. They like to spawn from down here, from the south, and there's basically 2 natural paths for them to go up. There's this one right here, and so we have our speaker at the start of the tunnel system, and then you have your spike with the gas, spike with the gas, darts, darts, there's a retractable floor spike, we have a dart here, but I don't have any room for a freeze. So what I've done is I've added a 3rd dynamo on the back here, a dart in behind that, and the zapper, and these 2 for when they get up here. Then they're going to divert over here, and then I have 2 more darts, and that's basically just making up for the fact that I can't hold them in place to freeze them and hit them a few times. So there's a few extra traps that I can get to hit them with to make this little ramp up possible. And down here, they like to come from down up here, come up this way. So we hit them with a speaker as they're coming up the path. Again, we're in this 2-tile radius, but we're taking advantage of the fact that this is a horizontal path and we're hitting them with so much. So we have dynamos going all the way up. There's some anti-airs tucked into this little cubby hole. Again, more of a diversion tactic than actually effective. The main ones are up here. And then they go through this. So we have floor spikes, gas, retractable, electric field. And then we have another gas because they can walk up this ramp. So we have another floor spike, gas, more dynamos, and then we have our freeze right here. They don't really go up this ramp. The main one is for them to come up this side. This is more just keeping it open. If you have block off, I find that sometimes it triggers husks to go that way. So everything's just kept open. But it's all set up using those natural ramps and their natural pathing in mind. And again, some of this is probably very unnecessary. I'd have this more for looks to have the full wall closure. But you could probably even get away with a lot less. This is how I have this set up. And then again, anti-airs, usually I try to keep them low. Sometimes I'll have them high, but the main thing is to have them at a spot where they're actually going to be throwing and hitting them. Yeah, there's not a lot to these tunnels. This is all built up to go along the cliff just to make that corner. Again, you probably don't need that. The main thing is this tunnel here. This is coming from the west spawn. So southwest gets hit two different spawn areas. This spawn area is down here, and they go up this hill, and they come up this side. So we have the 2 openings for them to go. And we have the speaker, the spike and gas, the retractable and the electric field, and the freeze with the zapper. This is the main configuration. Nothing different here. Now there is a spawn that happens all the way up here, and all we did is block this off very poorly. I haven't even upgraded it. But that's all you need for them to divert down and go through the tunnel system. Just a little bit of block off right there. Again, most of this is just create a flare. I have a staircase that you can go up, and it's more viewpoint. It's not really functional. I have, just in case there's lobbers that spawn up here and want to throw, I do have anti-airs up here as well. Anti-airs all down here along the top. But otherwise, it's a fairly simplistic system that works. If they happen to get out and try to go towards the amp, we have these darts that are still part of the wall system that are helping in play. And that is the southwest amp. Now we're going to take a look at the northwest amp, and I find this amp gets hit the most. It's one direction, and it's gets hit with probably the most of the firepower of the husks. And there's 2 natural paths that they go, so I take them through both. And again, it's cookie cutting all the other amps. So you have your speakers at the front, your spikes and your gas strap, then your retractable with the electric field, darts all around. This little indents will have the dynamos on them with the spikes in behind, the anti-air just to kind of mess with the explosive husks AI to think that they can't throw in here. They won't ever really go off. And then once you're out of that tunnel system, if they happen to divert to the amp, they're still going to get hit with a dart. And then we go up top. You'll see that I have the front row is lined up with those anti-air traps. And then on this side, speakers all along where they're walking. I do not shoot them here. I used to, but what I was finding is it would set the propane off to want to throw. So I have those gone now so that nothing will happen until here, and by then the speakers will do their thing. These floor spikes and gas will set everything in motion. Then you got your retractable 4 spikes with the electric field, and your freeze with the zapper. And the good thing is everything's high durability. You'll look like it uses 171, 152, 137 for the Zappa Max. Like everything is super high durability because you don't need a lot of firepower in the beginning stages of the game as well as the beginning stages of a tunnel system. So all of this is set with Stonewood in mind, and the durability you need, because it's 30 waves keep hitting the same 5 amps. You don't have a nice spread like you would in Twine. So durability, especially for people who don't have a lot, you need that. So I try to incorporate the need to have a higher durability into these traps, and it's still very effective. They're still very powerful for these husks. And when you upgrade to the war games, they still do their job. It just, you're more reassured that you're not going to run out when it's hitting wave 30 with this durability. Yeah, and you will get a few assassin husks try to come down over here, and that's why I have all these darts here. And that is the northwest amp. So now we're going to take a look at the fun one. So now we're going to look at the southeast flex. And I have this amp picked. I like this location, which is why I picked it. I wasn't a fan of the other 2 options. So this is the one I went for. And how it's, the challenge is the hotspots really. Tornado is really bad for around the amp. So you'll notice on this one, the amp, or all the builds are really far away from the amp. If you look at the map, all the other ones I put fairly close. This one is pushed back a lot more tiles, and that's purely because of the tornado. The tornado rips through anywhere that's cleared here, right against the wall. I mean, I went the whole path of the tornado and made sure that my builds do not start anywhere. There's a few traps in here that will get wiped out when that hits, but it won't impact any of the actual success of this, and I have videos of that I can show you. Alright, we're at the tornado wave now, wave 20 in Stonewood. We're at the bonus amp down here in the southeast, and this is just showing the tornado in this 2 tile wide system. Here you can see lobbers in action. They're all throwing. We have a lot of anti-airs though here to kind of deter that. It also doubles up for the propane, which is nice. But you'll notice the tornado doesn't really do any damage. It's going to go by, it's going to kind of sweep by these places right here. And then move on. So you do lose this tile here, and this floor right here, and this tile, but that's about it. And these areas are well done up. We have 2 dynamos here and a dart for if they walk through here. But you'll notice nothing used. The usage kind of stops right on this tile. They all die right here under the gas trap. And that's wave 20. Alright. So now with that, the other thing you have to worry about is hotspots. So hotspots bubble up, and they will do a bit of damage, but your main thing is that you want to try to make sure this survives. So there's a lot of fail-safes in this. What I can do is I'll show you how that works now. Alright, so we have our next hotspot here, and it has broken this dynamo and this wall. But you see when it opens up this wall, there's a dart right here set to hit anything that's getting through. Again, we haven't had anything get through this spot yet. Nothing's touched this floor yet. So yeah, hotspot number 1. That is impacting the build slightly, but not a whole lot. And then we have a second one up here now, and you'll see that it's taken away this wall. But we have our gas trap here, and we have 2 electrical fields, all these dynamos and darts, and they're not even coming up this way. This dynamo has not even been used, neither has this one. They're going straight up. Straight up that way. They like that path. Oh, and now we have another one. This one only took away 1 speaker and this dart wall. Otherwise, hasn't done too much. The trick is to find a 2-tile passage with no hotspots. You can't. So I've kind of selected this for the minimal impact possible. And that dart should activate. Oh, no, we have another one that got through. And I'll just let him hit. It's kind of how you have to test things. You just got to let them go. And I don't really care about the little lamp damage. My main thing is that not everything's getting through, which it's definitely not. And in all honesty, for 2 rows, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's hotspots. Wave 25 in a 2-tile amp tunnel system setup. Okay, so we're at the end here. We did lose our 80%. We're going to have 1 more hit, it looks like, here. I don't want to divert him over to the dart. I'll just let him hit it. But we have 30 seconds to go. Pretty much all the hotspots are in play. We have 1 more, I think, up top. Yeah, it's up top there. So not anywhere that it's causing any problems. It's really just those 3 in the back there. And everything is still going. And like I said, that bit of amp damage, I'm not too worried. So I have been adjusting some things to account for some of the issues I saw during those tests, just to make sure that it's not going to go through. This pathing was really bad. So what I've done is I've reinforced the back, and I've done a whole setup in here where I am putting the dynamos on this side and then the wall spikes on this side, so it alternates the heals and the increased build's health, and hoping that will divert the husks, as well as we have it all trapped out still in there. So all the traps that were working, and I had a bit of damage there. I think it went down to about 60% at the end. So all I've done is I've kept the traps, I've added a few more traps, and I've reinforced the block off so to divert them up this way. So if you take a look at the starting here, this is where they path up. They kind of spawn over here, all the way across over here, and they'll path up any of these openings that are showing here. And like all the other ones, it's the same sort of setup. So we have the spike, the electric field, the retractable spikes. I get an extra one here, and then we have the freeze with the darts and the zapper. And then if you go through this one, again, the speaker's on the outside, retractable 4 spikes, the gas trap, 4 spikes with the electrical fields, and here we get an extra long path because of the natural terrain. And this cliffside, they walk a lot more. And this is how we get away with the hotspots breaking some of this, and it's still working too, because this path is the most ideal for them to go up. And you'll notice I don't even have a dynamo here that I could be putting down. Always something that you can miss. So there we go. And you go up, they're getting shot by the dart in the back there. Right where that gas trap is, I'm using that to place a dart. And then I'm pulling them up here. Once I do a bit of the electrical fields, I switch to a gas trap again, just because I can. And then we hit them with a few more traps. So again, when you get the extra space, you can throw a few extra things in that you find work best. And that's what I chose to do. And again, just to divert them, anytime I use this dynamo, I kind of put the anti-air here just to try to help out with things. Like so. And then this is a little dip. So I just use the terrain to my advantage. I add a dart in here. You can even do a dynamo right here if you want it to. I haven't needed to yet, but since we're here, why not? Some flexibility. And then anytime I do a dynamo like that, I will set up these spikes just to reinforce the strength. Yeah, once you get out of this tunnel system and they try to get up here, you'll notice I still use that 2 tiles to throw up darts along those walls. And then anti-airs along the front to stop anything from throwing. And then on these ridge areas, there's a pathway that kind of goes right up here, and that's what I'm going to use. So I put speakers all around here, and then cut down here, the 1 tile, and we have another opening and a speaker there. And now we don't have this floor tile, so we kind of lose the freeze trap aspect. So what we do is we just put a floor spike and this right here, but then we have darts and the zapper, the electric field, and the gas still. So it is enough with this dynamo to stop things. And when they get here, I even have a little cheat tile right here to throw darts at them. But when they're here, they're not done yet. They will divert up here and get hit with these darts and come up this way. It's funny because this one right here is probably a better idea, but they don't come up this way. And we go down here, the spike, gas, yeah. And you'll notice there's no spot for a freeze on this one either, so this is a little dynamo cavern with another electric field. So I get 2 in here. Anywhere you, just like my old build, anywhere you lose out on a floor trap or lose out on a spot for a ceiling, you just kind of compensate with other traps that you're using. And then if they walk over here, they're getting hit with darts. If they come up over here, they're going to get hit with darts, if they even get out that far. And that is for the south spawn. Now we'll go over to the east spawn. And the east spawn, they kind of come from all the way over here, kind of right about here. Sometimes you'll get some husks that will fall down in here and try to go this way. This is all darted out, and then if they happen to break through, there is some traps on the inside there. Through this whole cavern system. Not sure if it's in here, no. But this is more just block off. As long as you have this all blocked off, the husks don't really get through. The main thing is the pathing right through here. So their natural pathing, they want to go. There's a tunnel system here that I have all blocked off but trapped out. So that's all blocked off. And you'll see that I have traps in there just in case they try to break through. They won't. But I like to have the fail safes in there. The main thing is they're going to walk up this path. And then I have it set up where they're walking through here and they're going to go up through this to get to the amp. So you'll see I have the speakers on this side where I have the darts, and then I have a dart where there's nothing, just in case. I've noticed some assassin husks will come this way to get me because my AFK spot is right where my home base is. So they'll walk that path, so that's why I have the dart there. But here, right where they come up on this path, we have a whole row of sound walls because we're really just trying to get them to go through here. So from here, the gas, the floor spike, the retractable, the electrical field, then we have a zapper, we have another floor spike because we have an extra space, and then the freeze. And then dynamos all over the place, darts all over the place. Anywhere I have a speaker, I try to have a dart on the other side of it just to get that reinforcement of the increased health and the heals builds attached. But I mean, it's basically, as I said, that same formula in every base, just cookie cutter depending on the terrain. You kind of have to add a few more flares, but that's how I do it. Here's the anti-air traps, and that's all you need. You don't need a lobber shield in this. You just need these anti-airs. Flingers in Stonewood, anything they throw, these anti-airs hit one shot. War games, it's a little different. When a flinger throws, it will partially hit the husk. But what ends up happening is they realize it's kind of futile, especially not so much on this because they can't reach it, but the amps that are around, I kind of have the old lighthouse set up in my own peculiar way, and when the husks hit it and fall, the flinger sees it as a failure, so he tries to find a new spot, and that's when he goes to the tunnel and dies. But I did notice that they do try, and the anti-airs kind of will shoot in a normal endurance round, but in war games, the husk will hit the amp design, and then the flinger will realize it's failed, and then keep going and try a different spot. It's kind of weird. But yeah, that is this design in a quick, summed up way. So that is my Stonewood, my 2-tile trap tunnel challenge Stonewood, to just show how minimal your builds really need to be, especially in Stonewood. I know I had my Plankerton. I'm going to be going into there next because I already had it down 1,200 tiles, and I know I could probably get another 100, 150 out of that. So that's my next thing. I'm going to revamp Plankerton. Really get a good grasp of what husks in a higher power level do when I try to incorporate this kind of system there, because I like to keep all my amps, all my endurances looking the same, running the same, and so forth. So hope you enjoyed. Hope you think it's cool. I think it's cool. If you like what you're seeing, show me with subscribing, liking my posts, and yeah, feel free to comment. I try to reply. The great part about this game, I find, is the community, the learning from each other, and the helping each other out. It's quite a thing. Check out the Discord that I post in the links, and yeah, hope you have a great day. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate your time.